The first time I ever saw toner foiling magic was when I watched Gina K show how to use her foil mates and toner foil in a Therm-O-Web booth at a stamp show. I fell in love with them and purchased all of them and the black toner sheets for the second generation foiling as she taught it. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik and I was so excited to see that all of Gina's foil mates have been re-released by Therm-O-Web and I now own them all again. Now years ago we used the second generation or negative foiling with black toner sheets. Then white toner and polymer sheets were released and you had a choice between black and white. And now many companies have colored foiling toner cardstock. So here are the first cards that I made with my new old Gina K foil mates. This time it was the Harvest Texture foil mate. Can you see the change of color in, first of all, the backgrounds were made the traditional way, which I'm going to show you, and then the second generation doesn't have white in there and it doesn't have black. It has a change of color there. Here's another one that I made with the same Harvest Texture. This is the first generation on the outside and on this flower, and then the second generation was made with my favorite, one of my favorite foils, which is the Amber watercolor. Can you see that change in color from golds to browns? I just love that. But the little petals are kind of yellow and somewhat green back there. I used Picket Fence Studios Fabulous Foiling Toner Cardstock. This one is an ombre set that changes from coral to aqua to turquoise ombre. So you have some of those oranges and yellows and you have some of the greens in there that you can choose from. So that is what I used to make these cards. Here is another card that I made, this time with the beautiful Flourish set, and I just love how this one turned out. This is a double interlocking gatefold panel card that I learned how to make from a Griffith video tutorial, and I made it for a very special 50th anniversary coming up in our family. So there's the first generation of the vines there, leaves, and there is the second generation with the colored kind of oranges and yellows and a little bit of green popping through. And then this opens like this. Isn't that cool? And I have more of those foiled squares, a little strip there, and a happy anniversary. So it opens and closes and then it locks together. So I really enjoyed making that card. Now of course all the details on all these cards will be on my blog, and links to those blog posts and products featured are in the description box. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to use these products. They really are foolproof, okay? So I have my Mink warmed up, and of course you will need a Mink or a similar machine to do this. It just takes a few minutes and I got it ready. I have a piece of that Amber watercolor foil, and you simply put it on top of the foil mate that you're going to use. Put it in a carrier and run it through. You want to have it go right down the center of the machine, not way over to one side or the other. Ask me how I know. I ruined a Mink by doing that. I had one that was way over to one side, unfortunately, and it got all stuck in there. And I tried to even pay someone to take apart, but it died, unfortunately, so of course I went and got another one. I put my toner sheets on 4. Some people use 3. You have to experiment with your machine. My foil toner sheets work best on 4. Once it comes through, it is kind of hot. And then you're simply going to pull off this piece of foil, and you have a beautiful foiled piece of cardstock with those vines and a slight change in color, but you really see it on the second generation. So now I have a piece of that fabulous foiling toner cardstock in some greens and a little touch of yellow there, and I'm simply going to lay this over that. You do this the same way if you had black or white, but in this case it has some color. I'm going to try to line it up so I get the most of that pattern, and then put it in another carrier. And again, just run it through right down the center. So here was the first piece, and I do love that. And I'm going to make a card with that in a few minutes with you. But I'm going to say that the second generation with all those pretty colors, and then the vines have turned kind of a green, is really my favorite. So we're going to remove the foil. And you have very little waste, as you can see. And then all of that foil has transferred to this, and you get that change of colors from the silvers to the golds, and then the leaves are now green in different shades of green. Isn't that cool? I just love how that works. So another newer product that has come out since I started doing this is the see-through foil, like this magical shattered glass from Brutus, Monroe, and Decofoil. Okay, so this one is see-through. And I just love the look. So all you need to do is, when you have these fabulous foiling toner cardstock, this one's called Birthday Bash, if you just cut a card front and then run it through your Mink with this transfers to the whole thing, and you have that shattered look there, plus all these fun colors. I made this a congratulations card using new dies and stamps from Karen Berniston. Here is the favorite of all the cards I created so far. This one, I simply attached that magical shattered glass onto a green ombre piece of the toner cardstock, and I put a piece on the inside, and you can see it's really fun. It has that shattered look, but it is somewhat masculine, right? So this is a birthday card for my grandson. Now you see the arrow there? See what happens when you turn and twist this? See how that box pops up right on the top, and can you see one of his presents in there for him? Isn't that cool? I think it's amazing. And I learned how to do this in a video from the Vintage Journal on TikTok. Now I have a link in my description box to her TikTok video. I made one, just the box, but I wondered as a card maker if I could use it on my cards, and the answer is yes. So I'm going to make one with the pretty leafy vines pieces we made earlier. To make the pop-up box, we're going to start with 4 pieces cut 3 by 4 inches. So you want lightweight, two-sided cardstock, pattern paper. I tried slightly heavier two-sided cardstock, but that did not work. It has to be very light so it can twist and turn. And then you want 1 square cardstock 3 by 3 for the bottom. And I decorated mine with one of those pretty viney pieces that we created earlier. So you're going to score these pieces here on the 4-inch side, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch on each side. So that's 1/2 inch, and this is 3.5. Okay, so score on 1/2 inch and then 3.5 inches. Now you want to score diagonally from the top left to the, from the top left to the bottom right, okay, of the scored parts. So you're starting the score line at that 1/2 inch mark. So you're going to score from the top left to the bottom right of the scored part. So I have a line drawn in on my score buddy, and that makes scoring diagonally very easy. You need to pick a line, and because I have it marked, I'm just going to score from the top left to the bottom right on all 4 pieces. So once again, I have these 2 1/2 inch ones already done, and I'm going to turn this diagonally and score. Now the other 2 pieces I have done to save a little time. So we're going to fold up on these side pieces, and then this diagonal line, I fold both ways because I just really want it to twist and turn. So we have the side ones, and then that diagonal line, you're going to fold it both ways. So this piece is 3 by 3, and I just covered it with a pretty piece that you're going to see on the inside. I'm going to put a little gift in there, but that just decorates it a little bit. We are going to glue these pieces on all 4 sides, and we're going to make sure that the diagonal line goes the same way on all of them, which it does, okay, but you want to make certain of that. So what I do is I just put this piece right in the scored line and fold it over to make sure and while it's still a little wet, you can move it around. And so there's one, and then you're going to put your second one in, and right up to the line. Line it up with the scored line and fold it over, making sure it's in there straight. And then you're going to take the third one, line it up on that scored line. So all the diagonal lines are going from the bottom to the bottom left to the top, all going the same way. So now we're going to start folding these. And what you do is you fold one and then you lift it up and you tuck the next one under. And then you fold up the side and you tuck the next one under. And then you fold up the last one and you tuck that one under, and then you fold up all these side pieces. So this, they're kind of like every other one. This is up, so this is tucked, and this is up, and that's tucked. I don't know if that makes a difference, but that's the way it looked like when I watched the Vintage Journal TikTok video, so that's what I have been doing. So now I have cut a cover for this. I did it 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 just to make sure it all gets covered. The one that I watched, she did 3 by 3, but I added just a bit on it. I put it on some heavier weight cardstock. This is another one of those foiling sheets, and I cut a circle with stitches with a Crealise die. So we are going to glue this on, and I am going to clip on the top and just make sure that gets dried thoroughly. Because if you get anxious and you twist it too soon, sometimes it doesn't hold together. I will show you another one I made while I'm waiting for that glue to set up. This one I made for a Christmas gift, and I started with the new old holiday flora, and first I foiled it in a sparkly red, and then I ran it through again with a black toner sheet so that it would grab that silver on the next time through. So it's like 3 times through, but look at how fun that is. And then I made this one, again, that's the first generation of that holiday flora. Added some decorations, put a little arrow there, and when it pops, you can see the gift inside, and it says "for you." So it is a Christmas gift version. I can see myself making lots of these. They're really fun. So now we're going to see, sometimes when you first try to open it, it's a little fussy, but I'm going to see if this will cooperate, and I think it is. Can you see that? It just twists to the right and opens, and then you twist to the left and it closes. I think that's just amazing. Now I have created a card base with the second generation of that foil that I showed you, with that beautiful watercolor amber change of colors and the green vines. I'm making this one a thank you. So I'm going to attach this with red liner tape just to make sure. I'm sure it's going to be opened and closed many times. So I think I'm going to make sure that it gets secured. So we want it to twist to the right. So I'm going to center that here. And then to help the recipient know what to do, I have an old arrow die from Motion Crafts from years ago, and you can either use the full diagonal, the full piece, or cut an arrow out. And I die cut an arrow and put it on a glue dot. And I'm just going to put this in here just to show them that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to twist it. Sure. Okay, now it's going to give me some grief, huh? There we go. Twist and pop. And I'll put a little gift in there, and then it goes back together. I had a great time playing with the new old Gina K foil mates just released, and all of the newer foiling products available to make foiling even more fun. Thanks again to the Vintage Journal for the instruction and inspiration on how to make this pop-up box. I hope my products encourage you to give some of the ideas and products a try, and then send some handmade joy out into our world.